Hello and welcome to Soul in Balance. My name's Alicia and this is A Space, the place to get your weekly cosmic news. So if you'd like to stay up to date with the cosmic weather, make sure you subscribe. So, golly gosh, we are in the last month of the year and it only feels like it was New Year's a few months ago. But as we know, the sun is in Sagittarius, and Sagittarius is all about expanding on the truth, expanding on our wisdom, expanding on higher knowledge. What are our beliefs? What do we know to be true about ourselves? And at this time, it is really important that we understand the truth of who we are. You know, we are not just our 3D reality. We are not just, say, a character in a video game where we're being controlled by our world and our external world. We are actually the character and we are actually the player. And it actually reminds me of a movie that I watched just recently, Maze Runner, where, I don't know if you saw the movie or not, but, you know, we're not just the runner in the maze. We are also the maze. We control the maze. We are also the scientists and the observers that are also, you know, part of this whole dynamic. And we need to understand that we can shift our perspective to the observer, to the scientist, to the maze. We control all the external world that we have because it comes from the inside. And at this time, it is really intense. There's a lot of trauma coming up. There's a lot of realizations. There's a lot of healing and clearing going on. And we're being thrown around, especially if we're trying to control our external reality, when all the control we have is inside, and that is where everything is coming from. So if we can change our perspective and understand that we are playing all these roles, we're the runner, we're the person in the video game, we're the maze, we're the observer, we are going to be able to have more control of our reality. And then understanding that what we're seeing currently is just our old beliefs coming up. You know, these are what is getting mirrored to us of what's inside and what we need to change, you know. So it's important that we start to see that we are not just our 3D reality and getting thrown around trying to control the outside, because with Pluto and Saturn coming together in Capricorn, it's asking us to, you know, let go of this control that we don't have and understand that we are a powerhouse within ourselves. We need to be putting our energy and our focus into ourselves, because what we heal and clear and support ourselves in inside is what we're going to see in our reality. So it's about making that shift and understanding that our beliefs and what we tell ourselves is what we're going to create. It's going to be the maze that we create. It's going to be the player and what's going on for that player. So I hope that makes sense. I hope I've kind of explained it in a way that is easy for you to understand, and hopefully, you know, it's a motivational thing as well. It's just that we really need to be stepping into the truth of who we are and what's going on, and that is what Sagittarius is about. And the ruler of Sagittarius, Jupiter, will be going into Capricorn on the 2nd of December. And this is also going to help bring about these new structures of what we're trying to create with our beliefs. So if we've got the beliefs, if we're working on the beliefs, we're working on the internal stuff, then Jupiter going into Sagittarius is going to help us expand and create these structures. So it is very important at this time that we really start doing the work, and especially as the galactic center goes from about 26 to 0 degrees of Capricorn, this is a time to really radically change what we know our lives to be. This is a time to expand and create that world that we want to create. So don't waste any more time. Start implementing what we can do to, you know, have a better life, have an easier life, not get thrown around by our external lives, you know, because we're all so attached emotionally to our outcomes. If we can just see that it's just a mirror reflection of the inside and what we need to change, we are going to be able to thrive, going to be able to create the world that we actually want in our lives, you know. Okay, so also on the 2nd of December, we will have Mercury in Scorpio sextiling out to Pluto in Capricorn, and Venus, that's also in Capricorn, will be joining the South Node, which is our past life collective story and what we're here changing and moving towards the North Node. So what does all this mean? We need to be having conversations around the truth, around honesty, about what's working in our intimate relationships, what's working in, our intimate connections, and what we can transform. Is our relationship able to be salvaged? Is it able to transform, or are we needing to have conversations of, where the relationship just needs to end, but we need to be having those honest conversations and, just transforming these power dynamics, these power plays, these power structures, as we need to be moving to the North Node that's in Cancer. We need to be coming from our feelings. We need to be coming home and checking what is right, what feels right, like understanding your partner's emotions, understanding our own emotions. And can there be a transformation here? If not, make it in a way that the relationship ends in a peaceful way, breaking down these old structures so then we can create new structures, new ways of relating to people. And if you're not in a relationship, this is the time to, have a look at this within yourself, because, the most important intimate relationship is with ourselves. What are we saying to ourselves? What is our communication? We need to be changing our communication to ourselves first and foremost, whether we are in a relationship or not. So definitely at this time, we need to be, sitting down and having these serious conversations with ourselves or with our intimate partners. And especially as the moon is at the last degrees of Aquarius, giving us that, that wisdom, that, universal information. And then as it moves into Pisces, we're going to get that healing energy come through, especially when it does relate to, our relationships and things like that. So in relation to manifesting and, using a law of attraction point of view with this aspect, it really is a time of self-reflection. Going inside, like I said before, checking the internal conversations that we're having with ourselves. If we're believing that no one supports us, that we're always cheated on, my partner doesn't listen, my partner doesn't care, my partner doesn't support me, all those negative conversations that we have, all these negative beliefs that we're getting back to us, until we change those internal conversations and start having conversations like, I'm always supported, I am so loved, my partner loves me so much, I'm so cared about, my relationships are always thriving, until we have that belief, we're not going to be able to see it. But I think at this time, with, Mercury being the planet of communication and Pluto being the, planet of transformation, we can transform these internal dynamics, and we can be having conversations with our partner around these things, but it starts with our belief system. So we have to believe, hey, my partner always listens to me. My partner always supports me. My partner always understands my emotions. So if we can have this belief system at this time, when we actually do have these honest conversations with our partners and understanding the power struggles and what needs to be broken down, it's going to be a lot easier. So, this is really a time just to, start experimenting with communication, and it all starts inside. We don't even need to be controlling the outside. We just need to set with conviction, that this is how my life is. This is how my partner speaks to me. This is how my partner treats me. And then we're going to be able to have those transforming conversations, even if it's not our partners, if you don't have one, like I said before, it's the internal stuff, it's the internal conversations that are the most important. So yeah, I'm just going to leave that there and move on to the next aspect, which is going on the 3rd and the 4th of December. So this is when the moon moves into Pisces. So as the moon moves into Pisces, it's going to be bringing out some really beautiful aspects. It's going to be trining out to Mars in Scorpio, and also the following day sextiling out to Pluto and Saturn. So these aspects are really healing. So after we have these, truthful and deep conversations in our intimate relationships or the relationship with ourselves. It's going to be, guiding us to make that transformation and heal what's going on the inside. So it really is a beautiful couple of days, to restore our faith in ourselves and, heal our hearts, because Venus is at the South Node. Our intimate relationships right now, we're dealing with past life dynamics. We're dealing with our past life dynamic with ourselves and our intimate relationships and where we need to transform. So, these aspects going on are really going to, give us that helping hand we need to, make those changes, to heal that broken heart, to transform that heart, to, be in a place of unconditional love. There is so much potential here to change what is going on. We are all souls. We're here and we're all in this together. We are all here working together, clearing past life dynamics, so we can clear and make through to the new world that we are creating. So the next few days, on the 3rd and the 4th, while the moon is in Pisces, it is a really good time just to come in and connect with our emotions, connect with our heart, and, heal these broken down relationships. Then on the 5th of December, the moon will move into Aries, asking us to understand what we need on a primal level emotionally. So we've had, these conversations in our relationship. We've gone through the healing process. What do we need? What do we need on a primal emotional level? And it will be joining Chiron, which is the wounded healer, where we're wounded in the self, especially emotionally. Are we supporting ourselves emotionally? Is our external world reflecting what we need on the inside? So we can also then be, more issues can be brought up of where we're not being supported emotionally. But if we've had these conversations with ourselves and with our intimate partners, then, this aspect isn't going to be as tough. But then we could also having to be revising what we've talked about, is this satisfying us on an emotional level? And it really is important that, we do spend, that day thinking about what we really, really need on a primal emotional level. So everything this week is really, getting pushed towards what we need on an emotional, fulfilling level, on a truthful level, breaking down these old structures of power plays and, forcing what we want, trying to control our external environment. We really just need to be coming in and focusing on what we need the most, which is usually the love from ourselves. So everything in our external world is really pushing us to go in and check in and say, hey, where are we wounded on an internal level? How can we support ourselves? Because when we support and love and nurture ourselves, we are only going to get that in our environment. And then on the 6th of December, the moon is going to be quincunxing Mars and then squaring Venus. So, again, this could be highlighting some tension in relationships, tension in what we need to break down, and also tension in the direction that we're going. But this is an opportune time to, transform this. What these energies are saying is, hey, this energy's here. We need to meet each other in the middle. So after we've had that reflecting time with the moon, with Chiron, how can we make these changes? How can we move forward with what we've discussed and what we understand and what we've worked on healing? How can we structure these changes? So it is very, very important, like this week, all up about how we can move forward in relationships and the relationship with ourselves. And then by the weekend, the moon moves into Taurus, which the moon is exalted in Taurus, and it will be joining Uranus, the radical change master. So if all is going on track for you, this is just going to push you in that right direction. If not, it is going to maybe bring up a little bit more internal chaos. But what Uranus in Taurus is doing is wanting us to not be so fixed fixed in what we know. We need to revolutionize what we understand about ourselves and where we are right now, and is going to give us a helping hand to, transform these dynamics of what we've had to go through over the week. So realistically, over this week, it is quite a supporting week. It is a week of change and healing, but also we do have this really big push from the universe to make those changes that we want to make. But it is all up to us. And the most important thing we need to be doing is coming inside and making the changes inside, not trying to grasp and control our external environment, because we have no control over it. And the more we try to control it and then get emotional about it, the more we're just going to be blown around, pushed around, and especially in these intense times. So it is a time of just coming in and checking in, having truthful conversations. What can change? Where are we wounded internally? So yes, that is it for me, and I hope you enjoyed the video. If you would like a reading from me, my details are down below. But other than that, I hope you have a fantastic week, and I'll see you next week.